What's up guys, welcome back. In today's content we're covering overhead assessments. We're looking at a friend and client of mine, Tom, who's had a right pec tear and struggles with some chronic knee pain. In this video we're looking at his ability to access overhead and internally rotated positions, and I'll help explain why his body is set up the way it is and what we did to help him. Enjoy.
With the wall arm slide test, we're assessing thoracic mobility, and we're going to see for Tom here, this is a big challenge for him. The back should be fairly flat to the wall, as should the wrists. As we can see, neither of those things were true, same at the top. So this means that Tom's a little bit compressed through his rib cage. So that's what I'm trying to help him with here. We're thinking about cueing to lengthen through the rib cage to make some space there, to essentially elevate the shoulder girdle to allow Tom to create enough space in the joints to create the rotation. So we'll see if that helps Tom now. As he sits against the wall, we're cueing him to shrug, so elevate his shoulder girdle. The hands come up in front and we can see immediately that the back's in a much better spot from the start. We can also see the wrists are still breaking. That will improve with a little bit more work, but the start position was better. So for Tom, we need to work on some thoracic extension to improve this shape.
Alright guys, so why did the big shrug cue help Tom get his shoulders into an internally rotated position? The answer is that Tom lacks thoracic extension. So what do I mean by that? Think about our slinky as being representative of our rib cage and our spine. If the rib cage gets compressed or squashed down, we lose some space, and joints need space to move. So in Tom's case, his shoulder girdle's a little bit depressed. He's quite stuck between his sternum and his mid-back, and therefore it's very difficult for him to actually extend through that T-spine. That also inhibits his hips, but we'll talk about that another time. So the cue to shrug up is actually encouraging us to put space back into our rib cage, back into our slinky, and that's going to improve both the overhead position and the internally rotated position. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. Pull your shoulder girdle down, try and move the arms up and down, shrug and try it again. If it works, give me a shout and let me know.
We then took Tom off the wall into a standing position to assess both external rotation and internal rotation, both of those being affected by his shoulder position. External looked good, much less of an arch, but check out the internal rotation. Very restricted and limited. Ideally that wrist should be getting right underneath the elbow. As we can see here, quite a long way to go. This is again coming from that lack of thoracic extension for Tom, so let's see what we can do with a bit of cueing. So we use our shrug, our slinky lengthening cue here like we did before, and you can clearly see that space being created. At the top it looks good, but he actually drops down a bit here as you can see, and then gets stuck. So look at this angle, still not quite making it. So I encourage him to increase that shrug, keep it all the way up again, and now look at the bottom position here. We've got a really nice stacking of the wrist to the elbow. We've done no intervention, this is all from cueing. So that shrug creates that thoracic extension and gives him the space that we need. The last thing I checked was shoulder internal rotation. This is the left hand side. This one's absolutely perfect. No winging scapula when we zoom in. Look, the scapula is nicely folded onto the rib cage. That's perfect. The right hand side, Tom had a pec tear. We can see that's where his compression is. And although it looks pretty good, look at the difference. Look at how much his shoulder has dropped. Look at the winging scapula at the bottom there of the circle. And then we bring them side by side. We can definitely see that comparison. A lot less coverage of the scapula on the right and a lot more winging.
Thank you for stopping by today and checking out my channel. I hope you enjoyed my content. If you did, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe and check back regularly.